So once you find a good person or a person who you think is going to work out, what kinds of things should we be doing to make sure that we're not being taken advantage of? We're not going to put ourselves into a situation where, I've talked to people who, I gave this person money and then they never saw them again, right? What can we do to guard against those sorts of things?
Well, I think a couple of things. One is check your referrals, and ask your referral once you get connected with that person to give you 2 or 3 or 4 references. And oftentimes we don't check the references, and it's such an easy thing to do. And sometimes you can even hire somebody to check the references for you. But the point though is that, a tradesperson may have a reference that they're only going to give you the best references, of course, right? But the more you can check, the greater opportunity you have to vet the right people for you. That's one. Secondly, you can, depending upon the size of the project that you have, most public agencies ask for a bond, or they want to see if that company is bondable. That's another way you can ensure the credibility of the firm, because even though a bond would increase the cost of the work, but if you ask them for a bondability letter, it costs them no money at all. It will cost you no money at all. But what it will do is that it will let you know that firm has already been vetted by an institution that bonds agencies for performance and payment. And those are the key things you want. You want to ensure that the person you're going to hire is going to perform. But in addition to performing, you want to make sure they're going to pay their bills, because they can put a lien on your property if you don't pay. But then if they don't pay,
what's your recourse? Try to find them. Good luck.
You don't want that. You don't want that. But that's a couple of ways you can vet the firms.
Yeah, that's an excellent. I never thought or heard about doing the bondability letter. That's fantastic. Okay, so now you have the contract, you have the person that's going to do the work for you. What is the next sort of step to make sure that things are going to go along as planned, that you're both on the same page, you both have the same understanding of what's actually going to be done?
Well, first, before we do either of those, Chris, I would also encourage your listeners to get 2 or 3 quotes.
Oh, right. Yep.
Get 2 or 3 quotes. And what that will do is that each firm will list out exactly what they're going to do in accordance with the plans that you have given them. And we didn't talk about that. But oftentimes, depending upon the type of repairs you're going to make to your property, sometimes the city or the county that you live in, or wherever your property is located, they may require you to pull a permit. And if you're going to pull a permit, they may require you to give them a sketch or an architectural drawing of exactly what you intend to do. And once you have that document, then that's what you would give to the subcontractors to quote. And once you give that to them to quote, you want to make sure that they have included every scope of work that's required, but also they're all comparing apples to oranges. And one of the ways you can determine that is if you get, let's say 3 quotes, and you're able to lay all 3 of those quotes side by side, and you can see line A, line B, line C, line D, and so on between all 3 to determine. You may have someone that has the best price, but maybe they left out some things. Maybe they have a different level of quality. So those are some considerations that you can make prior to making a final decision on who to choose. Then once you choose at least one, now you're talking about, having what I like to call go to Jesus meeting on the front end. So then there's no misunderstandings on the back end about what we thought the scope of work was going to be, in addition to a schedule of the work. So these are some of the things, safety, and these are just some of the things that you really want to give some thought to before you allow people on your property, and all of the things such as insurance and these things people must have. But once you make a decision and you start work, you really want to have a meeting of the minds. Okay.